Surah Az-Zukhruf, verse 81. I have it in front of me here. قل إن كان الرحمن ولد أنا أول العابدين. If the most merciful had a son, so I would be the first of worshippers. Now, in this context, are they trying to say because if he had a son, because the son would be of the same nature as him, therefore we would worship?
Oh, what a great question.
Wow.
Verse is so intriguing, right? Because it just kind of like, it makes your head spin theologically, where God is instructing Muhammad to say, if the merciful, that is, if God had a son, then I would be the first of the worshipers. So it seems to be positing, I mean, I would kind of agree with you, it seems to be positing the possibility that God could have a son, and simply denying that indeed or in fact he does have a son. So that's interesting for theological debates, you know, and in terms of apologetics and dawah and all that, because a lot of the way that dawah has developed in Muslim arguments is sort of this insistence that the notion of Christ's divinity, or even the notion that God would be Father, Son, and Spirit, is actually logically impossible. It's like a square circle. A lot of dawah makes that claim. Like, you know, you hear this, like Christians say 1 + 1 + 1 = 1. They're bad at math, stuff like that. So, but that verse would suggest that it's not that it's logically impossible because the possibility is raised by the first part of the verse. It's just that God does not have a son. I mean, I guess that's kind of all I've got there. I think there are other verses that could be brought in conversation with it. I mean, there's another verse in Surah 6, which says, how could God have a son when he has no wife? I think it's around verse 101. There are also some other verses, for example, in Surah 53, which kind of suggest that it's a question of divine dignity. Almost, I mean, Thomas would speak about the category of fittingness. So almost this notion that it's not fitting for God to have a son. I think the Quranic flavor on that question is somewhat similar to the notion of fittingness.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
That's fantastic. Very, very good information there, Dr. Reynolds and Subdeacon.